trying to get our social media platform stuff up on multiple, trying to get the other social media platforms I'm running so that we can spread the word more on to more people around the world who can have an opportunity to see our message and what our mission is about. Okay, my name is Tamani Mwandani. I am a contributing member of the Black Gold Nation movement. Our ultimate goal is to establish communities where Black people are in control, where we have influence, value, and power. We can stand on our own 2 black feet and do our own black thing. But we understand to get there, we have to have certain things in place. We need a lot of stuff to get to that point, but primarily we need 3 things. People on the ground that are ready, willing, and able to do, not just talk, trying to make a video go viral, share some information, talk about history. People on the ground who are ready to do in real time. Secondly, we need leadership that's on the same page, that understands the vision, and that have the expertise to help us make the vision a reality. It is no longer enough. As a matter of fact, it is dangerous for us in 2019 moving forward to give a Black person the title of leadership because he or she can maneuver the white man's political system. For us in 2019 moving forward, it's not enough. It's also dangerous for us to give a Black person the title of leadership just because he or she can give a good speech or a good sermon. That is not enough. We need people who understand the problems, understand the predators that surrounding our communities, understand the threats that are facing our people, and that have the expertise we need in multiple areas to train the people on the ground who are ready to do how to push back against all the things that we're up against. So 3 things we need: people on the ground that are ready to do, people in leadership positions that are ready to teach them how to do, and then the last thing we need is an adequate improvement defensive strategy to protect all of it. Because if you did not know, let me be the first to tell you that every single thing we have done in this country for the past 400 years to move ourselves forward has been targeted for destruction by this American government. That behavior is not going to change. Other people don't want to see us come together and build because they understand the power in us unifying ourselves and building, which is why they work so hard to keep us from coming together. But we have to stop playing checkers and start playing chess, understand these threats, understand how our enemies operate, and change our behavior and act accordingly. So those are the 3 things: value and power. People on the ground that are ready to do, people that are ready to teach those persons on the ground how to do in the critical areas that whereby we're being attacked. And the last one is an adequate improvement defensive strategy to protect all of it. So that is the ultimate goal of the Black Gold Nation movement. I am the direct revolutionary product, if you will, of one Cardinal and Bayou Chewy coming out of the shrines of the Black Madonna, and an indirect revolutionary product of the founder of Liberation Theology, Reverend Albert B. Clegg, or at Shrine. His African title was Jeramogi. His name was Abebe Ajiman, Jeramogi Abebe Ajiman. So I am here to try and connect with as many Black people as humanly possible that understand that things aren't right. Trying to find Black people that understand that things with us could be better. Trying to find Black people that understand that we are not in a good position, and people who are looking for a solution. I am not concerned with trying to increase my friendship numbers on Facebook. I'm not concerned with trying to increase my viewership of followers and or subscribers on YouTube. I am merely trying to find as many Black people as possible who want to do something to change the direction that our people are headed in 2019. I'm looking for Black people who see the handwriting on the wall and want to be a part of something that's about changing that handwriting on the wall to write a different story, a story that we can own and control because we have the power to do so. I am not concerned with being friends with a person just for the sake of being friends. If you're not ready, willing, and able to do something, please don't send me a friend request because I'm going to ask you to do something. And if all you do every single time I ask you to do something is send me a video or send me a picture, I will quickly block you and unfriend you. So please don't waste my time and don't waste yours. If you're not ready, willing, and able to do something, please don't send me a friend request because I don't want to have it. But if you are ready, willing, and able to do something, if you understand that Black people are in a bad spot worldwide and you want to do something to help us change that predicament, to change our position in the world, to change the fact that we are at the top of every bad list and at the bottom of every good list. If you want to be a part of that kind of change, then please do send me a friend request because I need as many friends like that as I can get because we have a lot of work to do. And of course, nobody's going to do it for us. So the Black reality in 2019, I'm going to give you a brief snapshot of what we're looking at, what it means to be black in America in 2019, and then we're going to talk about some things that we can do to change that reality, and briefly talk about why that reality is what it is. I am now 5 minutes into this thing. Let me get through this list, and then we can get started on these solutions. So the black reality in 2019. The bottom 50% of our households are worth less than $1. We got more brothers in prison, incarcerated in America than all women in prison globally, which has created a significant shortage of brothers in our communities, which directly affects the strength of our relationships, families, and communities. Our black farmers are still being discriminated against by the USDA. Federal judges recently ruled that the USDA systematically denied black and Native American farmers loans and disaster payments. Over the past century, black farmers have lost 80% of their land, only owning right now some 5% of the 2 million farms that exist in America. The author of the report, Henshaw, observed that farmers of color were disproportionately affected by obstacles in transferring land ownership from generation to generation, often resulting in land loss. The USDA, via the usage of GMOs, genetically modified organisms, is seeking to replace how natural and organic foods are grown to control the food we consume globally. If they can control the food that we consume globally, will they use that control to poison us and or deny us the foods that we need to live, thrive, and grow and be bigger, better, and stronger? That is something that they have done in the past, poison people and or deny people what they need to be better people. So we have to ask ourselves, if they can control the food that we eat globally, will they, again, do that to us? Food deserts, which are defined as areas that have limited access to affordable, nutritious food, exist in almost every predominantly black community in this country. Automation, artificial intelligence, and machine language is replacing millions of jobs. The White House just removed 3 million people from the food stamp rolls. And of course, there are more white people on food stamps than black people, but that does not mean that a large number of that 3 million aren't black people, which are our people. That doesn't mean that they're not going to be affected, because they are going to be affected. Purge activity, which is defined as assassinations, murders, kidnappings, organ and sex trafficking, and crimes committed by white people in Hollywood-type masks and gloves, and facial masks and gloves to hide their skin. These crimes are being committed by people that are not black, and of course, the police are looking for black people because the masks that they wear are high caliber and it looks like black people. Purge activity existing in every major community in this country. Again, I'm giving you a brief snapshot of what it means to be black in America, trying to give you an understanding of what we're up against in America, trying to paint a realistic picture of what life is like for us right now. Even though we might not be aware of the details, the fact that we don't know the details doesn't change the reality of the fact that we have a lot of issues that we have to deal with, and we have to deal with them quickly, because no one is coming to our rescue, and nobody's going to give black people anything black people need to be bigger, better, and stronger, which means everything we need has to come from us. Of our children, black children that live or exist in America's inner cities, because of the levels of physical, mental, and spiritual violence and trauma that exists in America's inner cities, a major study has shown that some 46.5% of our children suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, a condition that's normally found in some 11 to 20% of veterans who have been in combat. Our children, black children, African-American children, melanated children, carbonated children, whatever you want to call us, our children that exist in America's inner cities are suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome in twice the numbers of people that have been to combat. That is what it means to be black in America. Because of the level of physical, mental, and spiritual violence and trauma that surrounds our children in America's inner cities, they now are experiencing conditions as if they have, they're experiencing symptoms of a disease as if they have been to combat. Our children are exhibiting symptoms of combat stress and trauma in America's inner cities, which affects their ability to learn, build relationships, makes them more susceptible to depression and violence and drug use. The Portland police just digitally removed tattoos from a man's face and make him look like a suspect. We have to deal with over 900 white supremacist organizations, many of whom have been training for a race war, and they are anti-black. There have been 305 mass shootings to date. The last time I gave my live broadcast, it was 291. Now it's up to 305 mass shootings in America since the beginning of the year. There have been more acts of terror committed on American soil by the extremists than any other group in this country. these mass shootings are going to increase and more people are going to die. The Department of Homeland Security in a recent study has found that state and local law enforcement agencies nationwide have been infiltrated, with neo-Nazi members and secret terrorist cells developed as Black and Latino residents. The Donald Trump administration and Jeff Sessions has reinstituted privatizing federal prisons, which means there's a profit motive. As of February 2017, every state in this country was investing more in juvenile prisons than elementary and middle schools. Every state in this country, as of February 2017, was investing more in the building of juvenile prisons than elementary and middle schools. Under President Trump, the FBI's official counterterrorism priorities have included, quote, Black identity extremists, anti-authority extremists, and animal rights environmental extremists. They are not targeting the people who are actually committing the acts of terror, white men. They are targeting everybody else. That's a problem for us. The Donald Trump administration has refused to label and pursue domestic terrorism by white identity extremists on the same level that they are pursuing terrorism that's supposed to be committed by other people. Approximately 25.4% of the American population in the United States identify themselves as evangelical Christians, and 25% of that number, some 20 million people, support Donald Trump. That's a problem for us. We have to deal with over 100 think tanks focused on maintaining white supremacy and white power. We have to deal with a criminal justice system that's always been unjust, a bail bond system that's always been unfair and unjust, an education system that is never properly educated our parents, ourselves, our children right now, and will never properly educate them. A school-to-prison pipeline that's alive and well and highly functional. A multi-billion-dollar prison industrial complex that you can buy stock in. So if you can buy stock in the U.S. penal system, what is the commodity? Labor. Today's penal system is directly related to the abolishment of slavery in, I think, 1860, after the 13th Amendment. The 13th Amendment was written that said slavery is abolished unless you are in prison. Today's multi-billion-dollar prison industrial complex is a direct result of the clause in the 13th Amendment that outlaws slavery unless you were in prison. That's a problem for us. Redlining, gerrymandering, and gentrification, which is political power working against us, not for us, is an issue that we have to deal with. Over the past decade, annual estimates of the number of gangs in the United States is approximately 27,000. That's a problem for us because we have to protect our people, not just from people who don't look like us, but we have to protect our people from people who do look like us, because gangs often prey upon people that look like them. That's a problem for us. It's been 5 years since Flint, Michigan had safe water to drink, bathe in, and use. The majority of Puerto Rico's citizens went without power for over 11 months. The Donald Trump administration's Citizenship and Immigration Services Department is seeking to change the language on the Statue of Liberty from "give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free" to language that translates to "give me your tired and your poor who can stand on their own 2 feet and who will not become a public charge." That means that America is changing. Those that are in power in America understand that in a few years, I think by 2035 or 40, America is supposed to be a predominantly black or brown nation. They understand that. They see that reality looming on the horizon, and they are trying to change America to ensure that America does not become a nation of people of color, but it will continue to be a nation owned and controlled and ran by white people. That's a problem for us. Because they will do whatever they need to do to maintain and keep that power. Remember, power is never given or shared. Power is always taken, and power only respects power. The Department of Justice has proven that cities like Baltimore and Chicago have engaged in, quote, patterns and practices of conduct that violate the First, Fourth, and 14th Amendments. The First Amendment allows for freedom of religion, speech, the press, and the right to assemble and petition your government. The Fourth Amendment allows for protection from unlawful search and seizures on your person and or in your home. And the 14th Amendment allows for citizenship and equal rights due to African Americans after slavery was abolished. A court just ruled that DeRay McKesson, one of the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, has, quote, no First Amendment defense in Baton Rouge protests. So as I said, the Department of Justice has found that American cities in major ways are being denied their rights per the Constitution, as it states in the first, Fourth, and 14th Amendments. and we have Brother DeRay McKesson, who's one of the leaders of the Black Lives Matter movement, being charged with a crime, and they're saying that he has no first right that he can use to protect himself from this crime that he's being charged with. So America is changing. American laws are changing. American systems and programs are changing to become more anti-Black and or anti-brown. And that's a problem for us because, of course, we live here in America. And lastly, the Donald Trump administration has repealed civil rights protections all across the country in HUD, in Commerce, and many other governmental offices. So what does all of that mean? That means that we have some serious issues that we have to deal with in America. We have to deal with these issues in America because they affect our daily lives. We have to deal with these issues in America because we live in America. And since we know that America was built by our people from free labor that lasted over 265 years, and then an additional 106 years because of convict leasing and peonage farms, we are not leaving America because we built America, and we have just as much right to be in America as anybody else. But we have issues living in America that we have to deal with because no one else is going to. Now, my quote, I like when I post something on Facebook, I like to follow it up with a live broadcast if it's on a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday to further clarify the point that I'm trying to make. This morning's Facebook post is a quote from Dr. Joy DeGruy, and it states, quote, although slavery has been a part of human history, American chattel slavery represents a case of human trauma incomparable in scope, duration, and consequence to any other incident of human enslavement. Again, Dr. Joy DeGruy says, although slavery has been a part of human history, American chattel slavery represents a case of human trauma incomparable in scope, duration, and consequence to any other incidents of human enslavement. So what does she mean? She means that although slavery has happened throughout human history, no form of slavery ever inflicted on one group by another group has ever compared to the slavery that we went through here in America. Some people would say that is the past, that doesn't matter, but that is absolutely ridiculous because the things that happened to us since we got here for the past 400 years has conditioned our mind to accept the trauma, to accept the condition, to accept the oppression, to accept the unjust laws, to accept the things that are the way that they are, and to ignore them and move on. We have to understand that our reality in 2019 is that for a reason. We have to understand our reality in 2019 is not going to change if we don't change it. And we have to understand that our reality in 2019 is the way that it is on purpose. Now, a few weeks ago, I did a live broadcast, and I was quoting Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, who said she said, quote, we choose to ignore our reality. So you have Dr. Frances Cress Welsing talking about us choosing to ignore our reality. And you have Dr. Joy DeGruy saying that we have gone through the most brutal form of slavery ever inflicted on one group or another. And that slavery has traumatized us physically, mentally, spiritually, and psychologically. So I just read a list to you, a brief list of what it means to be Black in America in 2019. Everything that I just said can be researched and proven. Feel free to have at it. But the point is that we have issues in America that we have to deal with right now that we cannot continue to ignore. We have to understand why things are the way they are, but most importantly, we have to understand why are we Black people in America in 2019 and even around the world, in Africa and the diaspora, why are we choosing to ignore our reality? We're choosing to ignore that reality because as Dr. DeGruy says, we've been traumatized. Black people, African Americans, descendants of slaves, prisoners of war, melanated people, carbonated people, however you want to label those of us that were kidnapped and brought here from Africa, but also our brothers and sisters in Africa who were colonized and in other places around the world. We as a people, as a melanated group, we have been traumatized. And that trauma, it has been proven, can be passed down through the genes. So how are we going to change this? How are we going to push back against the trauma that's been proven to have been forced upon us over the past 400 years in this country and at least 800 years around the, I'm sorry, at least 600 years around the world. Everything we do in the Black Gold Nation movement, we do for a reason. Again, I am not here to try and get Facebook friends. I am not here to try and increase my numbers on YouTube so that I can get paid. I am looking for Black people who want to do something about the realities of what it means to be Black in America. I'm looking for Black people who understand that we have been traumatized and things aren't going well for us. I'm looking for Black people that understand that if we don't build a power base for ourselves by which we can protect ourselves and our children, we're going to continue to lose. So how do we change the brief list of what I just read about what it means to be Black in America? How do we push back against that trauma that Dr. Joy DeGruy was talking about? How can we find Black people who are not ignoring and are hiding the fact of what it means to be Black in America? We absolutely must unify ourselves as much as possible and create opportunities for ourselves whereby we can own and control our environment so that we can build the kind of institutions that we need so that we can heal the trauma that's been forced upon our people. We will never win if we can't own and control our environment. We will never win if we don't have institutions that are pro-Black. We will never win if we can't physically protect ourselves. We can't win if we can't feed and clothe and take care of ourselves if we get sick. We absolutely must create a nation within this nation, which is a collection of communities that we own and control that are linked with the same message, the same mission, the same strategy, the same goals, the same methodology, the same tenets of life, the same rules. Have Black communities that are linked with the same goal of building power for ourselves. The only way we're going to push back against everything that's happening to us is if we have power to do so. And we do have power. We're just not connected and organized in the fashion that will allow us to do it. Every single thing we do in the Black Gold Nation movement is an effort to find the right Black people who are ready, willing, and able to do something. I am so tired of getting videos from somebody who states in essence, "Oh my God, look at what they've done. Make this go viral before they take it down." As if that's going to change something. If the video does go viral, then what? Nothing. Because we've been conditioned via that trauma not to do anything. And even those of us that want to do something, that realize that things aren't right, we don't know what to do. The Black Gold Nation movement is built. The foundation of this movement is built on a proven strategy of how to build community for Black people. It is built on practices, tenets, spiritual healing exercises, educational classes. It is built on a foundation that's been proven because I've lived in such a community for over 20 years. We want to build upon that foundation, that solid foundation that started in 1953. We want to build upon that foundation by adding other people to it who are also doing things to make Black people bigger, better, and stronger. We don't have the luxury of just operating in one lane or one silo. I meet Black people almost every day who say that they are doing the same thing that I'm doing, but they have no idea what I'm doing because they're only operating in one lane. We will never win if we put all of our chips in the economic basket. We will never win if we put all of our chips in the educational basket. We will never win if we put all of our chips in the political basket. We have to put our chips in every basket that exists because we're attacked on multiple fronts. Black people are born into a war that we didn't start. We're 200 plus years behind on preparing for it. We have to educate our people to the fact that we're born into a war and we're surrounded on every front. We don't have time to waste talking about things that don't matter. We don't have time to waste debating, arguing about R. Kelly's pedophilia or Antonio Brown's ridiculous behavior on the football field. We have to build something that's going to protect our children from the very real threats that exist right now in America in 2019. We have to find Black people that want to do something. put them in a program that's all about doing and give them some things to do. If we don't do that, we're going to continue to lose. And if we lose right now, 2019, our children don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning. So what we're doing in this movement, we've been having what we call the Black Gold Nation, Black Church and Black Organization Survival Summit. On a Wednesday, Thursday evening or Saturday afternoon, we're talking about a different aspect of Black life whereby we're being attacked and destroyed. We're not just talking about that attack and or that destruction. We're giving solutions as to how we can push back against it so we can get more Black people involved in what we're trying to do. We've had 4 topics so far. We got another 14 scheduled over the next month and a half to 2 months, because we want our people to know that, yes, things are bad for us. Yes, predators exist in and around our communities. Yes, America is an anti-Black nation as it relates to those that govern it, but it doesn't have to be that way. There are Black people with solutions, proven solutions, that know how to push back against the ways in which we're losing, and they want to train other Black people on how to push back. We will never win if we don't have people in place that are ready to do, people that know how to do and want to teach those that are ready to do, and an adequate and proven way to protect all of it. I don't care what you are doing as an individual. You can't win against the systems that are up against us. I don't care what your one organization is doing, if it's doing its thing in one lane, because we will be attacked in all the lanes that we're not doing something. And if a Black organization has been in existence more than 3, 4, or 5 years, and they're not focused on building power for Black people, then our organization is probably irrelevant because it's ran by people that don't have our best interests at heart. We have to rethink everything we've done. We have to understand that our daily time ritual absolutely must involve time committed to the liberation and salvation of Black people. We have to understand that our daily time ritual absolutely must include time to build power for Black people. Every other group on this planet understands the need for power except Black people. And we don't understand it because it's been beaten out of us. It's been traumatized out of us. It's been psychologically extricated out of us. We have been conditioned to act like a bunch of niggas via a process. So if a process has made us this way, whereby we used to be a people that ran the world, and now we're people that can't even run our block. If a process did that, then only a process is going to reverse that. But we can never implement such a process if we don't have our own institutions. And we will never have our own institutions if we don't have our own communities. And we will never have our own communities if we don't have the right Black people who are in place to make it happen. So we've been having the Survival Summit every Wednesday, Thursday, or Saturday afternoon, Wednesday, Thursday evening, or Saturday afternoon, because we're looking for Black people who are ready, willing, and able to do something. On top of that, excuse me. All right, there's a maintenance people. Okay, and lastly, we are about to launch a new effort to bring more Black people on board. Most of us know that we have a lot of Black churches. By my count, we have over 85,000 Black churches in this country. 85,000. You find a Black church almost on every corner in the Black community. Because unfortunately, sadly, Jesus is an industry. There's a lot of money in Jesus. We need to be in as many communities where we have Black churches. We need to have a physical presence in those communities so that we can do things that are going to build power for our people. So we're going to launch probably next week a new effort to bring more Black people on board into this movement. Everything we do is about finding the right Black people to be involved in this movement, because we absolutely have a movement that have people in it that want to move. No movement moves without people. So we're going to launch the Barber and Beauty Salon Nation Building Alliance. 85,000 Black churches in this country. I venture to say that we have double, if not triple, the number of barbershops and beauty salons in this country, which is well over 100,000. So we want to have an online event on a Monday evening by which we can give our presentation to as many barbershops and beauty salons that want to be a part of this nation building alliance. We gave the movie Black Panther over $500 million in 1 month. Our people still have that money. We need to find a way to introduce ourselves to our people so that we can get that money, because our children need that money. Every business that exists in the Black community, we need to own and control, but we will never be able to own and control those businesses if we don't have the economic resources needed to go after and put those people out of business so that we can run those businesses. That Black Panther money, we need that money. That Black Panther money, our children need that money. I believe we can get that money from our people by simply asking our people for it. I think Black people are looking for something. I think Black people want to be a part of something. I think Black people want to build something for themselves and their children, but they don't know what that is or what that looks like. Of course, I believe that is this movement. So we want to present ourselves, introduce ourselves to our people nationwide in hopes that they come on board and help us build this thing. Because without Black people supporting us, we're not going to make it. Without Black people joining us, we're not going to make it. Without Black people being unified in enough numbers, we're not going to make it. Without Black people that know what they're doing in the ways that we're being attacked and destroyed, we're not going to make it. We have what we need in this movement, but we need more people to be involved in it. So if you want more information about the Black Gold movement, please go to our main website, blackgoldnation.com, click on About, read the mission. If you like that, if it makes sense to you, if it vibes with your spirit, then go to our events website, Black-Gold-Wakanda Rising, and click on presentations and RSVP for our introductory presentation, A Nation Within a Nation. If you've already seen it, go to Survival Summit, read what we're doing per the Survival Summit, and RSVP for all of our presentations coming up about how we're going to survive in America and beyond. The Survival Summit presentations are only $4 per, and the introductory presentation is free. We have the introductory presentation every Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, and the Survival Summit presentations or webinars are Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Again, everything we're doing is about putting Black people in a position to win, because we understand that our people aren't winning. We understand, again, that we're at the top of a very bad list and at the bottom of a very good list. If we don't change that, if we, the adults in America in 2019, if we, the adults in Africa in 2019, if we, the adults in the diaspora in 2019, if we don't change our behavior and our way of thinking, we're going to continue to lose, because we're going to continue to do the same thing. We have to redefine everything, because everything we've been doing has gotten us this far. And although we've made some progress, of course, that's a given. We most certainly haven't gone far enough, and we still have some very serious enemies, very serious threats, very serious issues that only we can deal with. We want you to be a part of this movement, and we're inviting you to do so. So if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the chat. I will answer them sometime today. And if you want to know more about the movement, check out the website. If it makes sense to you, RSVP for a presentation. If you want to support us on the events website, Black-Gold-Wakanda Rising, click on support, scroll down to that subscribe button, click it. We ask all of our supporting members, our Black Gold ambassadors, our leadership, to give $4 a month as a membership fee, because the idea is that, like the movie Black Panther, if enough Black people come together and give a small amount of money in large enough numbers, we'll have every single thing we need economically to move ourselves forward. But the economics is just one part of it, because economics without leadership is a waste of money. Leadership without economics is a waste of talent. We have all of that. We're not intellectually deficient, economically deficient, physically deficient, nor are we spiritually deficient. Everything we need to build something for ourselves and to own and control our own communities we already have. We're simply not connected and organized under one unified umbrella. And of course, that's what the Black Gold Nation movement is all about. Connecting all the Black dots that want to do something so that we can make some things happen. So let me make sure I don't have any questions. I don't think I do. And then that will be it. Brother K. Fame, thank you for making it. Brother Terry, thank you. Black Gold Time, amen. Sister Nanette, thank you. Brother Mduduzi, our newest ambassador in South Africa. Thank you for being a part, brother. I appreciate it. Brother Anthony, thank you. Appreciate it. Brother Daryl, thank you. Brother Kwaku, thank you for being there. Brother Neo. Brother Neo is, hopefully he will be a new ambassador in the UK when I give him the presentation tomorrow afternoon, his time. Brother Umbutu, thank you for being a part. Brother Sister Rafika, thank you. Nanyanka, thank you as well. Nanyanko is a longtime friend. She and I were members of the same church, Shrines of the Black Madonna. Brother Nicholas, one of our supporters out of South Africa, a businessman, entrepreneur there. Thank you for being here. Sister Dioncia, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Thank you for being here. Brother Anthony says facts. So thank you guys very much for being a part of the live broadcast. Share this with 5, 10, 15, 20 people so that we can get the word out about what we're trying to do so that you can be a part. We have some very, 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 very major things we're about to launch and promote and push for the remainder of this year, especially in 2020. We are strategically planning to pursue political power in at least 75 cities in America next year. And the way the plan is laid out, we are going to be successful. Again, we are not intellectually deficient in any way. We have yet to put things in motion whereby we can obtain power, secure that power, keep it, and build upon it. But the Black Gold Nation movement is most certainly going to do that because we have the people in place that know how to do it. So you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for being a part. If you haven't already liked us on Facebook, please do so. And like, subscribe, and share on YouTube. So with that, you guys have a wonderful afternoon. God bless. I will talk to you on Wednesday. Take care. Bye-bye.